What's up guys, welcome back to the garage and welcome back to another new video. So we performed pretty well at the Apex lap attack. That was our first time attack video, and I'm happy with how the car performed, and everything went pretty well, even though we didn't end up scoring any points on the weekend. So we got the car back, it's all cleaned up. I kind of went through a little bit of an in-depth wash. We actually had tons and tons of rubber all the way down the sides of the car, especially down here on the sides. But the car's all cleaned up and she's looking pretty good. But I think today it's time to install one mod that I've been needing to do for a little while. So as you guys know, when we were at COTA, we had some brake heating issues. The brakes never really overheated and like fully cooked themselves, but they were definitely getting warm, and I'm definitely wearing through my pads a lot faster because of it. So you guys can see the rotors are kind of starting to get some heat cracks in them, and we're definitely starting to get a decent amount of wear on these brakes. So the first thing we're gonna do is to mitigate this, we're gonna install some brake cooling. So similar to the OEM M4 GT4 cars, they run dual cooling to backing plates to cool the rotors. Now they don't run the OEM rotors, they're using the AP Racing big brake kit, that's the 9668 kit, and those are already better and they dissipate heat better, but they still need to be cooled. The OEM kit uses two different methods. The first method cuts into this little fang right here and creates an opening to channel air through the bumper to the back to the brake. The second method, now this is a different front lip, but it uses this same location right here to scoop air from the lip, go underneath the car and over to the brakes. So today we're gonna be installing the bumper vent cutout as well as the tubing to go all the way back into the brake and channel some air to the back of these brakes. Now this is going to require a few different parts, and it's going to require some cutting. Obviously we're going to have to cut the bumper, but we're probably going to have to cut some of the trim in the fender liner behind, as well as running the tubing and clamps and all that to get these brakes cooled. So let me show you everything that's going to be needed, and then we can get started with jacking up the car, getting the front bumper off, getting the lip off, and getting it all prepped. Okay, so here we have the kit, everything we need. These are the brake ducts. These are what's going to actually be going through the bumper. And then here we have plenty of tubing and hosing to route to the back of the rotors. And then these will be replacing the OEM dust shields. So we're gonna take the dust shields off from behind the rotors, and we're gonna be replacing them with these. We'll just have to drill out the holes for the correct mounting spots and put these up, and then we can channel the air to the back sides of the rotors. So let's get it all set up and let's get started. Okay, so we got the bumper off. Before we cut anything up in here, what I'm gonna do is I'm basically gonna make a template just out of some cardboard. So I'm gonna draw them out, what they look like on the outside, and then I'll fit them on the back so I know how big the opening needs to be. And then I can tape them up here, make my markings on the bumper, and then we can get cutting. We do have to trim a decent amount of this back section here as well. So this is the part that's annoying. Okay, so like I mentioned, I made these little templates here, and this perfectly fits. So this is the driver's side, this is the passenger side, and this is what it looks like on the outside, and then the shape. We have it mounted up right here. We got our markings on both sides. So now it's time to get cutting, and then we can get those installed onto the bumper. All right guys, so we got the first side done. It took quite a while, but we got it all trimmed out. And then we have two nuts in here holding it on. And this is what it looks like from the back side. So you can see we have it all trimmed out. We got this back side trimmed out pretty nicely. and we have plenty of room. Here we just have some nuts and washers, nylon lock nuts, and then there it is. So this is what the tubing will attach to, and now we just have to do it on the other side. All right, there we go. The second side is complete. We're on the back side, and you can see I have it bolted up on both sides. And you can see it nicely routes out, and we have the ducting on both sides. So let's get to the car, and we'll get to these brakes and figure out the routing, the tubing, and all that. Okay, as you guys can see, I went ahead and got the first side done just so I could figure it out before I told you guys, but fits in right through this little slot here. You have to take this out, open up this little bracket right here, bend it through, and then you can squeeze this through. I took off this lower tray as well, and then you just need to cut a hole in the back right here. I kind of zip tied it up a little bit as well. And then you can see I have the carbon dust shield on. So the rotor had to come off, take off the caliper, drill the holes in here to get this thing in place. So I just want to go over the carbon backing plate and a little bit of an issue that I had after this install that I kind of want to update you guys on. So as you guys can see from the photos that I'm throwing up here, the carbon backing plate has that single duct, but it's kind of facing in the wrong direction. It's angled right at the rear rotor face, and that's bad for a few reasons. So the first reason is how we want to cool the rotors. So angling the air straight at the rotor face is an issue because what's going to end up happening is the air is going to hit that rotor face, which is quite hot, and sort of create like a little bit of a shock towards the rotor face, which can lead to further cracking and more issues down the line. The second reason is that we're only cooling the rear rotor face and we're not cooling any of the front rotor face. So what we did is I went ahead and ended up finding this new backing plate on the forums, and I went ahead and got it ordered. It's coming from a guy who makes them in Sweden. It's got this new design that I'm going to show you here, and I'm going to go ahead and get these replaced here shortly. I haven't done this yet, but it should be quite a simple install. Just going to simply replace the rotors, and then they should mount up quite easily to the hosing. Something to note is that this new style actually has dual vents. So it has one vent that is facing the correct direction at the front of the rotor, and this is actually going inside, pointing more inside towards the hub. So the reason this is beneficial is that when it faces inside towards the hub, what will happen is the vanes that are inside the rotors will actually suck that cool air up and out through the rotors, evenly cooling the inside and the outside face. So this prevents that kind of cracking issue that I was talking about earlier. And then this one also has a second duct that faces more towards the caliper, as well as another duct into the hub of the rotor. So we're going to get a little bit extra cooling towards the caliper itself, as well as dual cooling into the rotor hub, which should evenly cool everything and hopefully leave us with a better solution. So I'm going to go ahead and get these thrown on, but just so you guys know, I haven't done it in this video. I did drive the car a little bit, no track driving, but we drove on the street and there were no issues. So let's get back into this install, but I'll be making a new video shortly about the new backing plate and the fix that we're gonna do. And as you can see back here, we are connected. So I already checked it lock to lock, and fits really well, no clearancing issues. This zip tie is required so that it doesn't hit the lower control arm when it closes back up. But we got a decent amount of space in here, and I think we'll do pretty good. So we got the first side done. We have extra sitting up at the front that we'll just jam in here and close when we put the bumper back on. Now it's time to do the passenger side. Okay, so we got this side done as well. You can see here we go. We have all the tubing lined up right here to the back. Carbon backing plates on. This is all firmly connected. Everything is back on. We also got the front bumper back on. You can see, I don't know if you can see up in there, but up in there is the tubing. So this goes all the way through. And here we go, we got the wheel back on. So I was checking underneath here, and so there you go. It actually has plenty of clearance. It does rub slightly when I go to full lock like turning in, but it like pushes it out of the way and then it stops rubbing. So we're gonna test it. We'll see. I'll probably drive a little bit and then come back. You know, I'm really not often at full lock, basically only going in and out of my driveway. So we're gonna test it. We'll see how it does. But otherwise, all we gotta do is kind of make sure we get the bumper all lined up. We have these all in place. I think they look really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this wheel back on, get the car on the ground. I'll probably throw it out in the driveway and see how it looks. guys, here we are. It's been a few days. I just got kind of busy, got a little wrapped up, and ended up just putting the car away and kind of going doing some other things. But it's all right, all finished up. We got the vents on. I think they look really, really good. The fitment came out pretty damn well here on the bumper. So right now I just have some stainless steel hardware on there. I might swap that out for maybe some black titanium. I think that might look a little bit better. But honestly, I don't really mind the silver. I don't think it looks too bad having the exposed hardware. It looks pretty good, pretty aggressive for this front end. You know, I think it looks really good up here on the car. And then like I mentioned, we have the ducting here on the sides. See if you can see it at all. Kind of see it poking out through there. The ducting goes back to the carbon dust shields behind the rotors. Definitely provides a lot of air to the brake rotors. So we don't have any track events coming up. We do have an event called Impact this weekend. It's at Circuit of the Americas, and it's basically just a show. There's some light tracking, but it's not a full track experience or anything. It's more like just a few corners of the track. But we are entered in the show, so you can see me out there. I'll be out there with the OEM extinguishers booth and just out there hanging out, having a good time, and the car will be on display. Other than that, I think everything went pretty well on this install. It was a little bit tedious, and there were some areas that I didn't really show as I was trying to figure everything out and see how it was all going to fit up. If you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to comment down below. Let me know, and I'll be happy to help you, show you any photos and how I have everything routed up. I may or may not make changes to the setup depending on you know, how it performs. Like I mentioned, it does rub at full lock. Granted, these wheels are super wide, 10.5 with a 295 square in the front. So I think part of it is that. And then the other part is that the offsets are so aggressive. So I think with my street wheels, I won't really have that issue, but I'm not going to be at full lock anyways on the track, and it's only like barely rubbing. We're just going to run it how it is. I'll run it for a little bit, and honestly, I'll see if it rubs through those lines. I'll replace them, and I'll have to figure something else out. Maybe I can change the routing of them slightly in the fender liner, but otherwise, I think it's looking really good. So that's going to do it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching that install. If you did, please leave a like, leave a comment. I'll see you guys at the next event, and hopefully at the next video.